Friends, welcome to my workplace at Ranaghat, West Bengal, India. This is totally unedited phaco surgery. Let us observe the surgical steps. This is the main incision at around 11 o'clock with a 2.8 mm steel keratome on the posterior aspect of the limbus. This is 2% hydroxypropyl methylcellulose filling off the anterior chamber. And now one side port is made on the right side of the main incision about 2.5 clocks away, and this is another side port on the left side about the same distance away. Now a capsular tag is raised with the help of a 26 gauge bend disposable needle, and now with the help of a utrata forceps, a continuous curvilinear capsulorhexis is performed. In about 10 to 15 seconds, the rhexis is completed. And now, this is hydrodissection. Fluid wave goes to the opposite equator. The nucleus is stabbed. The nucleus is then rotated. Didn't rotate nicely, so I'm doing some more hydration, and then it rotates nicely. This is 2% HPMC again, and now the tip of the phaco needle is introduced into the anterior chamber. The tip goes with its bevel towards the lens mass. Some superficial cortical lens matter is removed, and then the handpiece is turned, bevel is up, and now the exposed part of the tip is buried just in front of the main incision into the nucleus. It travels through the nucleus like a submarine and goes towards the opposite equator, and as it reaches near the opposite equator, the chopper is used to divide the nucleus into two heminuclei. Each heminucleus is then subdivided into two fragments. If the nucleus is very hard, each heminucleus is divided into more fragments. Like this heminucleus has been divided into 3 fragments. Now each fragment is picked up with the phaco needle, and it is emulsified and removed. Phaco power used in this case is 70%, flow rate is 45 ml per minute, vacuum is 450 mm of mercury. This is a grade 4 nuclear sclerosis, or at least grade 3 plus nuclear sclerosis. This is the last nuclear fragment. At this time, the vacuum may be reduced to some extent. Maybe about 300 vacuum can be used at this time. And now the nucleus and then the epinucleus is removed. First nucleus, because the epinucleus will protect the posterior capsule to some extent. And now in this case I am going to use the Simcoe first to remove a part of the cortex by the time my assistant gets ready with bimanual irrigation aspiration. So this is cortical cleanup from say 2 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and now I use the bimanual irrigation aspiration for removing the cortex from the upper part from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock. So cortex from 1 o'clock to 9 o'clock has been removed, A small amount of a speck of cortex is there at around 130 o'clock, just below the sideboard. It is picked off with the aspirating probe and cortical cleanup is done. And now the anterior chamber as well as the capsular bag has been filled up with 2% HPMC, and this is Hoya preloaded single piece monofocal intraocular lens. It's a beautiful preloaded system. Can't help appreciating this preloaded system. It is compatible to 2.2 millimeter incision, and if the incision size is 2.8, the tip goes into the anterior chamber. If you can hook the rhexis margin just above the haptics, then the lens is in the capsular bag. And now irrigation in the anterior chamber and then irrigation in the capsular bag is done to remove a large portion of the visco. And then the bimanual irrigation aspiration is used to fine clean the remnants of the visco. Irrigation of the bag, irrigation of the anterior chamber, and then irrigation and aspiration is used together. Yes, it is done. The lens is nicely settled in the capsular bag. This is a bit of moxie. Now the sideboards are closed by corneal stromal hydration. When you hydrate the corneal stroma thickens and the sideboards close. This is the final lavage of the anterior chamber. I do this religiously to prevent TAS. At the conclusion of surgery, I just want to fill up the anterior chamber with pure BSS and nothing else. But lot of moxie remains in the capsular bag, that is enough to prevent any infection. Thank you very much for your attention. Hope this video will help you in developing your surgical skills.